So I asked you guys on Twitter if you wanted an Ask Meg video or a Dear Meg video, and you guys voted for Ask Meg. So here it is, another Ask Meg video. Now, a couple of you asked what the difference was between Dear Meg and Ask Meg, and that's a fair question. Allow me to fill you in. Dear Megs traditionally are one topic, longer form, like my How to Meet People video, and Ask Megs are traditionally 5 to 10 questions on one topic, like my dating video. So last time I told you guys if you liked the dating video, I would do another one, and you guys said you liked it. So here is dating part 2. But before we get started, I have a question for you guys, because I'm always giving you guys advice, and I want to take some advice from you guys. I've been thinking about getting another dog. And I think it would be a great idea because dogs are adorable and awesome, and I love my dog so much, and I feel like she might be lonely. Like maybe if she had a friend, she would be happier. And then somebody on Twitter tweeted me that dogs live longer if they have friends. Is that true? Because I want Penny to live forever, and I don't know. It seems like a win-win, but I know it would be harder to find places for her to stay when I travel because 2 dogs is a lot more to handle than 1. So if you have 2 dogs, please tell me, is it twice the work or do they totally take care of each other? Because I would love to know while my dog whines. Okay, so this time, so I can avoid all the scrolly business, I picked out 7 questions that I thought were amazing, and you guys submitted some really good questions. I think I actually made it 6, but whatever. I picked some questions, and they were really, really good, and it was hard to narrow them down. I'm going to try and keep this a little bit shorter, so here we go. I almost totally knocked over my laptop. Okay. At Context Subtext says, what were your thoughts on relationships between people from very different economic backgrounds? This is a great question because it comes up a lot. And I have been on both sides of the relationship. So I, in college, made more money than the guy I was dating. And once he needed me to pay his rent, like he was gonna like totally lose his apartment, so I helped him pay his rent. And I remember being like, so like, oh, we're so in love, and it doesn't matter, like money's so ridiculous, people let it get in the way, and it shouldn't mean anything at all, and I'm totally happy to lend him money. And then a week later, he came home with a new Xbox 360, and it was like almost a total double homicide. I was so mad because it was just like really disrespectful, you know? And I'm not gonna rehash the whole argument, but it definitely caused a big rift in our relationship, and I think that's more about the way he treated money and less about him making less than I did, but it's certainly an issue. On the other hand, I have been in a relationship where I make a lot less money than the person I'm dating, and it's still an issue because when you work really hard and you make a lot of money, you want to enjoy that money. And I get it's really frustrating when you feel like not only now do you have to worry about sending yourself somewhere, you've got to pay for somebody else too, and that's totally frustrating. So it's all about how you treat it. If you're somebody who goes in eyes wide open and says, I know I make a lot more money than you, and I am totally okay with taking you wherever I want to go and taking on the responsibility of paying for you too, that's great. If you're somebody that it's going to frustrate, or you're going to be that person who's like, hey, got you dinner, aren't you? Are you going to say thank you again? If you're going to be that person, be honest with yourself and don't date somebody who makes a lot less money than you, because it's going to become an issue. That person's going to start to resent the things that you get them, and it's just going to become a huge issue. So be honest with yourself. If you're somebody who can just say, great, I'm so excited you're with me, then that's fine. But if you're not, like, be honest and just don't date somebody who makes a lot less money than you, or vice versa. At XXNYRVXX says, how do you balance friends and girlfriends/boyfriends? This is a great question because it's so important for there to be a line. You have to have your own friends. It's so important. I can't stress the importance of having your own friends. I was once in a relationship when I changed cities, and so I kind of like lost my whole friend circle, and it put this huge strain on the relationship because now you're not only expecting your partner to be your partner, but now they're your friends, and their friends are your friends, and it's just kind of frustrating for that person. They want to have their own bubble, and they want to have their own thing going on. And I know when you get excited about someone, it's hard not to be like, let's hang out all the time and I'm gonna introduce you to all my friends and we're gonna all be one big happy family. But I feel like hanging out with your friends by yourself give you some perspective on the relationship that you don't get when that person's around. You're able to like bounce ideas off of them. Your friends are able to talk to you candidly in a way that they probably wouldn't if your significant other was around. So it's really, really important. And so to answer your question of how you balance it very, very carefully, and you do it with eyes wide open. You have to be honest with the person and say, listen, I'm hanging out with my friends today. Please don't be offended. Please don't be offended if somebody says that to you. And, why don't you guys hang out? Why don't you do girl day and I'll do boy day, or whatever, vice versa, mix around. Do friend days and just give someone enough time to miss you. That's a great phrase that I've been using lately that is kind of encompasses it all in one. Give someone enough time to miss you. Good phrase. At Deus Kane says, when you're interested in someone, at what point do you cut your losses and assume they just don't like you? This is not even a little bit flattering to admit. I'm that person who, like, when I like someone and then I text them and then they take 3 days to text me back, I'm like, oh, they clearly don't like me. And then they text me back on the third day and I'm like, see, it was so ridiculous, they totally do like me, which is a little bit ridiculous. If they took 3 days to text me back, they probably aren't that into me. But I am so easily suckered into that shit, it's ridiculous. So I say, if you feel like they don't like you, being completely upfront and saying something like, listen, I'm really interested in you. Are you interested in me? If that person says yes and then ignores you for a week, you should say something like, hey, we had this discussion earlier where you said you were interested in me and that's awesome. I'm so excited. But when you don't talk to me for a week, it kind of makes me feel like you're not that interested. So am I misreading your signals, or, could you maybe not ignore me for a week? Probably the best way to go about it. And I just feel like I hate when there's that idea in your head, like maybe they weren't trying to blow me off and 6 months down the line we're gonna do that thing like, why didn't you ask me out? And they're gonna be like, I don't know, I thought you didn't like me. And I'm like, I thought you didn't like me. And then it's like a Romeo and Juliet situation. So be upfront. I just realized I'm talking really fast in this vlog. Sorry. At Sal Rodriguez L12 says, is it a good thing to show up at the person's house you're going on a date with like flowers or anything like that? Yes, very good idea. I think it just shows interest and excitement, and I know some people are like kind of over it. I don't know, I think it's really cute. Actually, when I booked Slim Jim, a guy showed up to my house with flowers, and Slim Jim is stuck on the flowers. I thought that was really cute. It just shows like, hey, I'm excited about this, and here's a little treat before our date even starts. I think it's cute. Don't go overboard though, because it's a little weird when somebody has like a whole nursery in their hands. Then what am I doing with that? Now I've got bees. I don't know. Maybe you don't have bees. It's a Tim and Eric joke. All right. At Psychotic Saito says, what are some good topics to talk about on a first date besides the whole tell me about yourself? So I have a friend who recently did this on a first date, and I thought it was really, really cute. She wrote down a few questions, I think like 20, that she really wanted to know, and the guy wrote down like 20 questions he really wanted to know, and they drew numbers, and they were like, okay, number 6 is, do you want kids? And then they both answered, and it was a good way to spark conversation without giving somebody like the tried and true, like, so tell me about yourself, because it's such a big question that you don't really know how to answer it, So you certainly don't have to do that, but I just thought it was really inventive and kind of a cool way to get to know the person. At Embarrassing says, what do you do when you've thought of conversation topics, but then you get so nervous you forget everything? This is a great one because I learned this so the hard way. When I was first starting to interview people, I would get so worried that I was going to blank on my next question that I would ask a question like, so you're running a radio festival, tell us about that. And then they would start talking, and I would immediately be like, sunglasses giveaway, sunglasses giveaway, sunglasses giveaway. Like, don't forget to ask about the sunglasses giveaway. That's the next question, sunglasses giveaway. And they could have been like, Marilyn Manson's going to show up, and he's going to eat live babies, and I would not have heard it. And then, toward the end of the question, I'd be like, here it comes, sunglasses giveaway, I got to be ready, sunglasses giveaway. And then they would say something, and I would get tripped up, and I'd be like, fuck, what was that question? And I would be completely blank, and it is the worst feeling ever. So, the hard way, I had to learn to listen. It sounds so duh statement, but it is such a thing you have to tell yourself to do. Don't think of a next question. Just ask a question and listen to that person's responses. I can't tell you the number of times I go into interviews now, I have no questions in mind. I just say like, oh hey, I heard you're working on this thing. And then just let the conversation go wherever it's gonna go. Don't worry about whatever you thought you were gonna ask next. Worry about what that person said. Oh my God, Marilyn Manson and live babies, what? And for only $20, and then you have your next question, and it's awesome. The last question is, at Mr. M. Cell says, I think the question most men would want answered is, does size matter, and what are your thoughts on the matter? I don't know why when I saw this question, I got kind of nervous. I was like, I'm not going to answer that one. Like, that's a good question, but I'm not going to answer it, and I don't know why. It made me so nervous. I'll totally tell you. I think being confident in what you have or what you don't have or whatever, like what you've got going on is so much more important. Being self-conscious because you think something doesn't measure up or whatever is such a turnoff, and guys who are just kind of like, that's what I got going on, whichever side of the scale they may be on, is so much more attractive. I've had so many girlfriends who say things like, okay, well, he seems kind of sensitive about it, but it's just like, I've told him it's fine, and he keeps asking about it, and it gets tiresome. So being confident, no matter where you think you fall on the scale, is so much more important than where you actually fall on the scale. And I know that that's hard sometimes because everybody's self-conscious about something, you know, but I think working on it is so important and will really help you in the long run. I don't know you or if you are worried about it or not, but if you are worried about it, it will help you in the long run. Yeah, I think that's the most important answer for that. And with that said, thank you guys so much for all your dating questions. That's all of them that I'm going to answer this time around. Please leave topics for future Ask Megs in the comments down below. And if you have a specific kind of longer than 140 characters question or topic or issue or whatever you want to talk about, you can always email them to me at megturneycosplay@gmail.com, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!